It's Wednesday afternoon and I went out for a quick run this morning. I went out for an earlier, but I just kind of wasn't really feeling it, so quickly went home and got the dog, got Rufus, and put the weighted vest on and continued my run into a hike. Got 12 kilo, I think it's about 12 kilo vest on. I'm also walking Rufus, so that's killing two birds with one stone. But I also want to use this opportunity to do a kind of review on the Superiors. The Altra Superior 4.5, which I'm wearing now. These ones down here. Hopefully they're in shot. I am extremely impressed with these. They're the most surprising shoe that I've actually tried for 2020. So I must have done about now at least 50-60 miles in them, and actually have taken them out on a little bit of road too. Initially, I was quite concerned about the the difference in stack height from the Olympus, but switching the slightly plusher insole into them, the comfort and the stack is perfect. It's ideal. It definitely promotes a nicer, almost kind of higher cadence. You just feel a lot lighter on your feet, so you're just bouncing along a lot more effortlessly. I mean, I have noticed, which I've remarked about before, is that my heart rate seems to be lower, which probably has nothing to do with the trainers, but it feels like it does. It just feels like just running seems to be a bit easier. Of course, it is a little bit easier because they're a lot lighter than the Olympus. So, reviewing the shoe from sort of top down, again, initially I was a bit concerned about that weird lacing system they have and the way the shoe is integrated into the tongue. That just gives you a very, very secure lockdown. So the overall lockdown and fit is good. It's spot on. There's that heel counter and that sort of ankle fit is extremely soft but still secure. It does have a very slipper-like feeling, but still locked down with good precision. There's not precision, there's not much slippage, there's not much movement. Again, it's slightly different because I have slightly wide feet, so if you have narrow feet there will be a bit more movement around inside the shoe, so the lockdown feels good. So the secure fit feels good. The laces not too long, they fit nicely, they tuck nicely away once they're all tied up. So there's like a sort of a very fine mesh, which is very different to any other trainers I've got. That is perfect. Seems to work really nicely as a sort of protective measure to keep out obviously all dirt and stuff, but also to let the shoe breathe, let your feet breathe. It's not water repellent, but it seems to hold off the mud, which is quite good. So that's the upper going down, and then into the midsole, which we have. I think it's 22 millimeters of the Quantic midsole, which is very similar to the Torin 4.5, and you have a very soft plush, but it's not plush until you put the other insole in, actually, well, for me anyway. And I thought the Torin 4.5 as a road shoe was just a bit too plush. It needed to be a bit more responsive, so switching these two insoles was perfect. It worked really, really well. And then that leaves the outsole, which is fine. A bit of grip there, a bit of tread, nothing amazing, but it does the job for what you need. But all in all, it's a really good shoe. But what it does do, I think, which is the best thing about the shoe, I suppose it's the most sort of minimal shoe that I've got, without being minimal. It just makes you the ground contact is great. You definitely feel much more connection, which is then a much more enjoyable ride on the ground, almost as if you are barefoot, but obviously you're not. But I think the zero drop is even more pronounced. Whew, that's quite a steep hill with this vest on. I think that zero drop feels even more pronounced in the Superiors because it's obviously lower to the ground, more ground feel, but it just feels a lot of fun, like when you're just bouncing along. I guess to compare it to another shoe, another brand, the Hoka Torrent, Hoka Oni Torrent and Torrent 2 has a similar sort of feel in regards to its responsiveness. It's lightweight, and so yeah, and its speed. But unfortunately for me, the torrent is too narrow. I'm now just completely used to the big wide space up front. My toes would just not be happy being squished back into the torrent. But for a load of people, the torrent's fine. There's a decent amount of width in the torrent. It's not terrible, but yeah, I would say the Superior 4.5 and the torrent aren't too dissimilar in the way they feel. But I'd be leaning towards more the fact that the Superiors have that zero drop, and that barefoot feel spins it the other direction, much more minimal. But all in all, for about £100, the Altra Superior 4.5 is a great shoe. As a kind of all-rounder, you can use it on the road as well. Buffed out trails, technical stuff isn't too bad as long as there's not any massively sharp rocks around. And yeah, that's it. So far, all good. Right, found a hill. Let's walk up and down 8, 10, 12 times. 2 hours, 12 kilometers, easy run to start off with, and then a quick change to get the weighted vest on. Most of that's done, so it's a weighted hike really. But a nice 2 hours on my feet on the trails. It's kind of a recovery, so all good. Right, that's Wednesday's work done, or I might slip into the gym later, but in fact it's even quite sunny, so I might even, nah, that's it, it's all done. Easy run into weighted hike with this thing. Which is at about, I think, 12, 15 kilos, but pretty damn heavy.